Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're making a birthday card for my husband and we are using the Camp Trailer card die set from Honeybee Stamps, and here you can see me just snipping away all the different die pieces. It comes with a lot of little pieces, and if you take a dry baby wipe and you snip down into it, that dry baby wipe will capture all those little bits and then you can throw them away safely. Here I'm just showing you, I use my Gemini and I'm just laying out some of the pieces that I want to be silver, and I am going to use some Holtz Kraft metallic cardstock and cut out my trailer. There's a lot of die cutting. I decided not to show that because it is a bit time consuming. So here I am cutting out a couple of stitched slopes. I do not have a grassy die. I thought I did. I'm going to have to rectify that. And I don't have anything long enough to cover an A7 card that's landscape. So I'm going to have to get creative here with my slopes. I cut out two different slopes, and where they overlap each other, that seam, I'm going to cover that with the tire of my little camp trailer. Sorry, it's a little off screen here, but I will fix that here in a minute. I did make a couple little errors when I was putting together my camp trailer, and I will point those out. So if you decide to get the set, maybe you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I fell into. But and here it is. Here's where I glued those together, and I just left that hanging off the edge, and I will trim that down later with just my scissors. I decided to cut it out of that silver metallic cardstock. One, I really love that cardstock. It is thick and just easy to die cut, but I thought it made it look like a little Airstream trailer. So if you know anything about campers, you probably know what an Airstream is. And so I just thought that would make it super cute, and I was trying to make it masculine. A lot of these little campers that you see them made are super cute, but they're kind of girly, so I was trying to make it a little bit more masculine. So I'm just using my Cosmic Shimmer Glue to glue all these things together. I decided not to pop any of the things up on foam tape because I just thought the layers of material just gave it enough dimension that I didn't need to do that. So just getting everything glued together. And one little thing I will mention too, that here I'm cutting off that little excess there with my big Holtz shears. Great scissors. If you don't have any, you should get some. They're awesome scissors. They're titanium. They don't get sticky, and they are super sharp. And you can cut along the whole side of a card with one whack. Anyway, one good thing about that metallic cardstock is that if you get a little bit of glue on the surface, you can take a wet baby wipe and wipe it up real quick, and you'll never know. So here I'm just cutting out the trim for the doors in the windows, and because I've got layers of cardstock there, I wanted to cut an extra layer. That way the door would be smooth. The trim for the door would be smooth on there. And so I just cut out two layers, and then I will glue those together and then glue that down to my surface. Now here is one of the mistakes. I should have put the door itself down before the door frame. I think that would have looked better, and that's probably the more correct way to do it. But after I realized that when I was doing the window, and so my door was already pretty much adhered, and there wasn't any going back from that. Okay, so here, sorry, my phone making noises here. Just gluing down that tire, you get a white circle and then a black hoop for your tire, and you just glue those together. Here I'm gluing down my door, and you see it goes over the top of that trim, so that's why I'm thinking that it should have went down first. And that's just the back side of my paper. I decided to flop it over and let that be like the inside of the door. And so here I am gluing down the trim piece for the window. And shortly here is where there's where I am cleaning up my mess. And that glue just wipes off real easy, before it dries with a wet baby wipe. And so here's where I'm discovering that this is not quite right, because that again is, you know, bigger than the inside of the hole. So here's where I'm discovering that should have went down first, and then the window. And then again, I should have put the curtains on the inside of the trim piece too. So I decided not to try and peel things up again, and to just go with the curtains kind of sticking over the bottom of the trim piece. My husband didn't notice. Matter of fact, when he opened this card, he didn't even think I made it. So that was fun. I think there's a lot of things I could have done better or differently. I was kind of running out of time. Oh, things have been so busy lately, so I was just kind of running out of time. I wanted to take some Copic markers and make little grass marks on my green slopes. I didn't get a chance to do that. And there, you know, a few things I wish I could have redone on the little trailer, but it is what it is. Now this little awning, the score lines that the die puts in there is not real deep, so it did take some fiddling with to get those score lines to fold, where I could burnish them down with my Teflon bone folder. And then you just put a little dab of glue on that, and I just smoothed it out so I wouldn't have any, with my fingers, so I wouldn't have any ooze over. And then I just took my bone folder to mash that down really good. And there you have your little awning. And I thought those papers matched real well with some papers I just found in my scrap bin. Love to use that on my scrap bin. And so now I'm just going to coat the back of my camper with some foam tape, so I will have this dimension on the card. And it just kind of gives the campers a little bit more heft to it. And after we get this done, we will move along to some stamping. I used another product from Honeybee Stamps for part of the stamping called Build the Bear. It's a really cute camping stamp set too. And before I do that though, I'm going to take a piece of Post-it tape and just kind of block off the back side of my card so I don't get any ink on it. And I'm just going to, I think I used the new Distress Oxide ink colored speckled egg, and it makes a really nice sky color. It looks a little green on the video, but it's really blue. But it's kind of a neat kind of sky color blue. And I know this doesn't look real even right now, but I didn't really want it real even. I wanted it to kind of look like there was clouds in the sky, and I am going to bring in some more clouds here in a second. The Simon Says stamp cloud die has clouds cut out of the middle of it as well as the borders, and so I just used some white pigment ink to just sponge on some clouds, and that's my sky. And once I get all the other stamping done to it, and that dries and smooths out, I think it made a really nice looking sky. So I'm just taking my little heat tool because I want to do some embossing on the top with my stamping. So I'm just taking my heat tool and drying that a little bit, and I'm going to do some testing here. And I discovered that it didn't slide off like it should, so I'm going to do a little bit more drying. You want to, test and, make sure that it's good and dry. And here's that Build the Bear stamp set. And I'm going to use that big sentiment, "You make me a happy camper." And I haven't used that stamp. I used the bear before and a couple other little things, but I hadn't used that sentiment. So I was just rubbing that really good with my fingers just to get off all the manufacturing goo left on it, to make sure that I get a good impression. By hindsight, if I wasn't in such a hurry, I should have just put this into my stamp platform and, done it, because I got an okay impression. I didn't get a super duper impression, but it was okay. And like I said, you're making it for a guy, they don't notice those things anyway. So I'm just putting on, I stamped that with VersaFine Onyx black ink, or black onyx ink, whatever, and then coated it with some Wow clear embossing powder. And then I'm just going to melt that, and it makes it a little shinier, intensifies the little black a little bit more, so you don't notice that my stamping is not 100% great. And I will take a few other little images from that stamp set. There's a dragonfly, a butterfly, and some bees, and we'll just stamp those around. I think that was peacock feathers that I used for the dragonfly. And then I'm going to use, I think that's fossilized amber. Sorry, that was my daughter calling real quick. She works for my friends that own the printing company, and they are working on this coming soon banner to put on our winery property, because we're about to break ground on the winery. So I wanted a big coming soon banner so people will start to take notice of that there. Anyway, so just trying to get some graphics worked out for that. Okay, so on the inside of the card here, I am stamping the little fire from the Build-A-Bear stamp set, and then I've got this stamp set by Art Impressions called Happy Trails, and it has this line in it, "You light my fire." And so I thought that would be cute to stamp just above the little campfire. And then I'm going to take the Happy Sentiment set from Honeybee Stamps and use that big happy and its little birthday to stamp happy birthday on the inside of the card. I'm going to stamp the happy with the VersaFine black onyx ink, and then the happy with the fossilized amber. And I've used this happy a few times, so it's good and seasoned, and I got a really good impression, but it did hold it down on there. I think holding it on there for a bit helps the ink all to transfer to the paper, and I think you get a better impression. And this little birthday I have used numerous times. I really like this set. This set's really good. I love that scripty happy, and it has a ton of little words in there, so you can do happy almost anything with that stamp set. And I have used the happy birthday quite a lot. So now I'm going to just stamp around some more bees with that fossilized amber. And I'm sorry that my phone keeps popping up into the screen there, but yeah, I was getting a lot of inquiries on our ranch house and other things. It's been crazy busy lately. All right, so on those little bees, I just took a Copic multiliner and colored in some of the stripes, so I get the black and yellow bee look. And then I'm just using some Sakura Stardust Jelly Roll pens to color in the wings with a little sparkly blue, and then I will use some other colors here in a bit to color in the dragonfly and the butterfly. I decided I would just get my Prismacolor pencils out and color in that fire really quick. I have the 36 set of the Prismacolor pencils, and I can pretty much, you know, color almost anything that I want with that 36 set. So I started with coated everything with a light yellow. I went in with a red, and then I'm going to go in with some orange, and I bring that in on the little tips of the fire flames, and then I'm going to go back over everything with a darker orange. And then I will coat it all with some Gamsol just to smooth it out and kind of meld those colors together. And that'll be my fire. I think in the end I do go over it with a little bit of Nuvo clear overlay sparkle pen. Use my bone folder to just burnish that, to fold down a little bit more. And we will adhere our camp trailer. Probably should have colored in my my dragonfly that was kind of just barely poking out behind the camp trailer before I put the camp trailer down, because basically I couldn't really color it in, but it's okay. It all worked out well. The like I said, he was very happy with it. He thought I bought it, which is always a very good compliment when you make cards, when people didn't think you made it, think it's store-bought. So that was good, but I hope you learned from my little pitfalls with this, and so if you decide to make it, that you will have a better first outcome. So that's it for today. I'll have some pictures at the end if you want to see more or any of the products used. You see down below or click over onto my blog link. And that's it for this one. I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.